Joining me now from Denver, Colorado is CNN safety analyst David Susie. He is also a former inspector for the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration. Good to have you with us.
Hello.
So, outgoing Boeing CEO David Calhoun faced a grilling on Capitol Hill Tuesday with bipartisan criticism targeting Boeing's safety, transparency and quality standards as he testified for the first time before that Senate hearing. What stood out to you?
One of the things that stood out to me is David Calhoun, I think, did a great job of trying to express what Boeing is and what it wants to be. I think that he fell short a little bit in one area, which was that they brought a report out and they said, this is the report that we received. And he agreed with the senators that it looked like what they called garbledygook to them. And that concerns me that that report came from Boeing. The CEO should have most definitely known what was going to them before it went. So I was concerned about that. Other than that, I think he addressed most of the things that needed to be addressed. The senators, there was one senator in particular that was truly unfair towards him and would make accusations that were, he called them truths, but they were not truths. They were his opinions. And I think that that was a little unfair, but Calhoun still stood up to that, I think, and answered the questions that needed to be answered pretty well.
And of course, Boeing is under intense scrutiny from several regulators after a series of safety missteps earlier this year, including that door plug that blew out of an Alaska Airlines flight after takeoff in January. What changes need to be made at Boeing to ensure this and, of course, other mishaps don't happen again?
Well, I think the most critical thing that needs to be done at Boeing is to start creating the line of sight between what those people do on the floor, what everyone does to manufacture the aircraft, and how that relates to their line of sight towards safety and towards what they're trying to do. I don't think that Boeing has done a good job of making sure that they understand that the management is communicating with each other, they're listening, they're growing, they're getting better, but they're not doing a good job of getting that message down to the people who really care, the people who are doing that work. I don't think it's getting to them, and I think that they feel so insecure about coming forward. That's what leads to these whistleblowers, is when they're not being heard. They don't just, somebody doesn't throw up their career and become a whistleblower without having already tried to get that message across. So that's where it needs to happen. That's where they're talking about it, but I'm not sure they know how to do what I'm talking about right now. What are you going to do tomorrow different than you did yesterday?
Let's talk about the whistleblowers, whose Calhoun acknowledged that Boeing retaliated against employees who have previously raised safety concerns. What did you make of that admission and a new whistleblower claiming Boeing's 737 MAX assembly line lost hundreds of substandard parts, apparently, that may have ended up in planes?
Well, what surprises me is the fact that he said that he had not spoken to any of these whistleblowers himself. Now, the safety management system itself within Boeing says that if you don't get satisfaction with your supervisor, you go to the next, and you have that right to continue to go. Before it became a whistleblower, before it was written to Congress or the Senate to say this is a problem, it certainly should have gotten up through the chain all the way to Calhoun if he was not satisfied with the answers that he got. And that's what the safety management system's about. So the fact that that did not happen concerns me a bit. If it gets that far and the CEO hasn't spoken with anybody, that's where the breakdown is.
And before making his opening remarks, Calhoun apologized to the family members of Boeing 737 MAX 8 victims who were present in the room with photos of their loved ones killed in those plane crashes. Given that moment, and of course what came out of this Senate hearing, how likely is it that significant changes will be made at Boeing to improve safety? And did Calhoun say anything that might get people to trust Boeing again? Because that's going to be quite a task, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a very touching moment for me. You know, I've been an aircraft accident investigator for many, many years, and that connection back to the individuals and the people who have died and been injured by aircraft, it really takes a strong man to be able to confront that and be able to say that. It expresses to me that he truly does understand the gravity of the situation, that he's truly doing everything he can to make this happen, and he knows how to do good things. He's done many good things there at Boeing, and it's going in the right direction. Can he get enough done soon enough to convince the public that Boeing's producing good aircraft again? I'm not sure that he can, but I think the management structure and the potential CEOs that are upcoming will be able to do that.
David Susi joining us from Denver, Colorado. Many thanks for your insights on this issue. Appreciate it.
Thank you.